I still remember the day it all started, when I made the decision that would change my friendship forever. Ava had been my best friend since childhood, the kind of bond that felt unbreakable. We did everything together, from childhood pranks to comforting each other through heartbreaks. But then came the job opportunity, one that Ava had been dreaming of for years. She confided in me, telling me about her application, her excitement, her fears. And then, out of nowhere, I found myself applying for the same position. At first, it was harmless curiosity, but as the process moved forward, I convinced myself that I was just as deserving. When I got the final call, offering me the position instead of her, I froze. Ava was devastated when she found out. She didn't even know I had applied. The betrayal in her eyes was something I'll never forget. She didn't yell, didn't accuse. She just stared at me, her face pale and lips trembling. "Why didn't you tell me?" she whispered. I had no answer. How could I tell her that I had put my ambition above our friendship, that I had taken away something she had worked so hard for? I told myself that I hadn't done anything wrong, that it was just competition. But deep down, I knew I had broken something between us, something that could never fully be repaired. I had always trusted Clara with my deepest secrets. She was the kind of friend who made the world feel safer. We had an unspoken rule: what we shared in confidence never left the room. Or at least, that's what I thought. One evening, I confided in her about a personal struggle I had been dealing with. It was something deeply sensitive, something I wasn't ready for the world to know. Clara had nodded, promised me her silence, and reassured me that I could always count on her. But the very next week, I overheard a conversation at a party. My secret, my most vulnerable truth, was now gossip for everyone to dissect. My stomach dropped. I felt betrayed in a way I had never known before. Confronting Clara was harder than I expected. I wanted to believe it was a mistake, that maybe she had told just one person in a moment of weakness. But the way she brushed it off, claiming I was overreacting, shattered me completely. The trust we had built over years crumbled in an instant. I walked away from her that night, knowing that our friendship would never be the same. It was like mourning someone who was. Clara and I had always dreamed of working together. We spent years hyping each other up, believing that one day we'd be unstoppable. But when an opportunity came along, one that should have been hers, I took it. I didn't mean to betray her, but when my boss hinted that the promotion was between the two of us, I stayed silent. I didn't tell Clara. I convinced myself that if I didn't actively sabotage her, I wasn't doing anything wrong. But I knew better. When she found out, her voice cracked as she asked, "Did you know about this?" I wanted to lie, to pretend it was just as shocking for me, but she saw it in my eyes. The disbelief, the hurt, it was all there. "I would have never done this to you," she whispered before walking away. And that was the last time we ever spoke. I gained a title, but lost the only person who ever believed in me without conditions. There's an unspoken rule between best friends. You don't fall for the same person. But love doesn't care about rules. I told Clara I didn't like him, that he was all hers. And I believed it until he started talking to me more, texting me at night, sharing things with me that he didn't even tell her. It was innocent at first. At least that's what I told myself. But deep down, I knew better. Clara found out the worst way possible through screenshots from a mutual friend. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just looked at me like I was a stranger. "You could have told me," she said, her voice eerily calm. And that was what hurt the most. Not just that I had betrayed her, but that I hadn't even given her the respect of honesty. Clara had been planning her birthday party for months. It was supposed to be her night, her moment. But I made it about me. I drank too much, picked a fight with her over something ridiculous, and stormed out, leaving her humiliated in front of everyone. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of texts, but none from Clara. I wanted to apologize, but when I showed up at her place, she didn't even let me inside. "I can't do this anymore," she said, leaning against the doorframe. Her voice wasn't angry, it was exhausted. That was the moment I knew it wasn't one mistake that broke us. It was all of them, piling up over the years until there was nothing left to salvage. Clara was always the golden one, the one people liked instantly, the one who always got things right. I told myself I wasn't jealous, but every time she succeeded, a small part of me resented her. I hid it well, or so I thought. But resentment finds a way to show itself. One night, I let it slip. We were at dinner, and she was excitedly talking about a new job offer. And instead of being happy for her, I scoffed. Must be nice having everything handed to you. The second I said it, I wished I could take it back. Clara's face fell, and she just nodded. So that's how you see me? She asked quietly. And just like that, years of friendship unraveled in a single moment of bitterness. Clara trusted me with everything, so when she told me her biggest secret, I swore I'd keep it. But secrets are heavy, and I let it slip to the wrong person. It spread like wildfire. By the time Clara found out, it was too late, everyone knew. She called me, her voice shaking, asking, "Did you tell them?" I wanted to lie, to pretend I had no idea how it got out, but I couldn't. "I didn't mean to," I whispered. "But you did," she replied, and that was all she needed to say. That was the end. I didn't think things could get worse, but then the online world got involved. After our falling out, Clara blocked me everywhere. Instagram, WhatsApp, everything. But I was still in our old group chats. I saw the way she posted cryptic quotes about betrayal, how our mutual friends started choosing sides. And then it happened. Someone shared a private conversation we once had, one where I had vented about Clara, said things I never meant for her to see. It spread like wildfire. People took screenshots, shared them, added their own versions of the story. It wasn't just between Clara and me anymore. The entire friend group had turned against me. "You really said all this about me?" Clara finally messaged, the first time she had spoken to me in weeks. I wanted to explain, to tell her it was all twisted out of context. But what could I say? The words were mine, the betrayal was real. It had been months since we last spoke, but I still thought about Clara every day. I replayed every mistake, every betrayal, wondering if I had ruined things beyond repair. And then, one night, I saw her, at a cafe we used to go to. She was with new friends, laughing, looking lighter than I had ever seen her. She had moved on. I wanted to go up to her, to say something, anything, maybe even apologize. But before I could, she glanced in my direction. Our eyes met for the briefest moment, and in that instant I knew there was nothing left to fix. She looked at me like a stranger. No anger, no resentment, just indifference. And somehow that hurt more than if she had hated me. I wrote her a letter. Not to fix things, not to make her forgive me, but just to say what I never had the courage to say in person. I told her I was sorry, that I regretted everything, that I wished I had been a better friend. And then I let go. I never sent it. Instead, I tucked it inside an old shoebox with pictures of us, concert tickets, little notes we used to write each other. Memories of a friendship that once felt unbreakable. And then I walked away. Because some things aren't meant to be repaired. Some friendships die, not because of one mistake, but because of 1,000 small betrayals that add up over time. And the hardest lesson I had to learn? That sometimes losing a friend is entirely your fault.